Hey, welcome back, everybody. RT Machine Podcast. Eric's not here today, so I'm filling in as the quote-unquote host. He's off in New Orleans, him and Cody at the flooring show down there. So they got some good leads. Anyway, everybody go around the room and announce who's in the room here today, starting at my left.
Dean's here.
We have Ryan here.
He's back.
And Jeremy.
And Joe Fox with Northtech Machinery.
Yep. So today we have Joe and Jeremy here from Northtech. We're going to do some training, sales training with our guys on some machines we have here on the floor. And we thought we'd sit down and chat a little bit, talk about the Northtech line of machinery and history of your company and you guys, kind of how you got in this business. So kind of let you talk from there.
Sure. Awesome. I will start with some just brief history on Northtech Machine. Just give a good understanding of who we are, how long we've been around, and what we're currently doing. So beginning as a thought in 1979, actually the year I was born, just a couple days ago, two friends, they became partners and started a company in a small corner office of Bargain Supply Company, which was a hardware and tool supply house in Louisville, Kentucky. Word moved fast about this new company offering a more rugged and dependable grade of machinery for hobbyists and do-it-yourselfers. In that market, they needed a more robust option. So it took just a few short years to discover that the same demand existed in the industrial division of the woodworking machinery.
Oh, so in the beginning he was doing single-phase home shop.
Yeah.
Hobbyist. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right, good.
So those smaller machines offering it, especially in the local market, Louisville market and southern Indiana, is kind of a big, it is a big market.
Yeah.
There's a lot of woodworking shops. There's a lot of cabinetry with the wood, the hardwood belt running through the Midwest and up into the eastern region, just like anywhere when the resources are there, you just kind of come up with business that makes sense. So
Sure.
in the mid 80s, they began to offer industrial woodworking machinery as well as continue to offer machinery that the hobbyist and DIY market could use. A crossroad in 1992 steered the company to almost exclusively classical solid wood industrial machine offering, which has been the foundation of Northtech ever since. We are offering innovation and safety and more into our machinery these days over the last 8 years. And I'll get into that in a couple minutes, but certainly, focusing on trying to make the machines better and better. Every single machine we get through the door, we evaluate, and any feedback from the customers as they continue to use the machinery and then they've used it for 10 years, then we find out that, there was a weak bolt or a weak bearing and we try and upgrade that at that time, or if there's something that's safety related that could make the machine safer that we find out about. It's not just, hey, let's just develop something to help that customer. It's, well, if it's going to help that customer, it could help others.
Yeah. That's the best way to improve your machines from customer input.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep. And that's why we reach out quite often, not just to help out on the service side or the parts side, but certainly to get feedback to continue to grow and make the company better. So
Good.
in 1994, the decision was made to relocate across the street to Northtech's 30,000 square foot building downtown Louisville. This new space allowed for much needed parts and service department, which rocketed Northtech industrial machinery into machinery for other industries outside woodworking, often stocking over 800 new and used machines. Northtech grew into these areas such as metalworking and plastic machinery steadily. Currently, we don't really do much in the metal side. We do a lot of aluminum and plastic. Aluminum.
There's a lot of crossover there. Easy crossover there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the blade is universal there. So
Sure.
In our upcut saws, we use we do a lot of aluminum series. So in our aluminum series, we're going to have misting. We're going to have chrome tables. There's
air over hydraulic cylinders.
Yep, air over hydraulic to make that stroke nice and even and steady, and more hold down, horizontal clamps. So there's certain things that we add to our normal upcut saw to turn it into an aluminum series, and that market we've done very well on. So.
Good.
Over the next 2 decades, Northtech became a staple in factories of all sizes across America. In 2016, Northtech's name was acquired and reorganized by the Cutter family of Starlight, Indiana, being the second and third generation of a family-owned woodworking business. That started in 1959. Just a few miles from Louisville. The Cutters had already partnered with Northtech for over 25 years on machinery. This partnership made Northtech one of the primary machinery suppliers in what grew to almost an 800,000 square foot woodworking powerhouse in the Midwest. Along this new leadership, machinery experience, and energy came the third building to showcase a Northtech logo. Northtech Machinery, their new home is inside the former 398,000 square foot Kimball International Woodworking Facility in Borden, Indiana.
It's a big building.
Yes, sir. It's almost 10 acres under roof. So,
Wow.
unfortunately, when they purchased, when Brandon and Rick, his father, when they purchased that building, I think back in 2008 is about when they acquired that building. And when they did so that following fall, a tornado came through that area, and we had the doors open at one end of the building, and the straight line winds came through that building and actually picked the roof up.
Ooh.
And on a 10 acre building, that's a big roof. And
Yeah.
it picked that roof up about 12 inches and then set it back down. So it blew out windows and doors and created a lot of leaks in the roof. And
I'm sure it didn't put it right back where
it
was
did.
supposed to be.
It did.
It's
So there was some adjusting, some tweaking, some reprofiling going on.
Yeah,
there.
but
But
geez.
we got all of those holes filled and things squared away, and that gave us the opportunity to go ahead and build our new office, since that's our headquarters now. We thought it was necessary to have a nice office there, and
right.
we built it in the corner of the facility where the dust collection used to be. So there used to be 500 horsepower sitting on the roof, and we took advantage of some of that structure there and hung a planer in our
Yeah, I saw
conference
that.
room.
Yeah.
So when you have the top of a double surface planer hanging from the ceiling, it makes a really cool chandelier.
It is very
Yeah.
cool. You kind of sit back though, and make sure it doesn't fall down.
You don't like walking underneath that one.
Well, it's over
Right.
top of the table, so
Yeah.
hopefully when it hits, it just stays right
Yeah.
there.
So
No, it looks like it was held up there pretty well.
it's held pretty well.
Some good sized chains for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And if anybody ever meets Rick Cutter or knows him, he doesn't do things moderately.
No. Definitely overkill.
Yeah.
A
in
little
every
bit
project.
of overkill.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe it.
Yeah.
So the Kimball International building was purchased by the Cutters, and they've moved some tenants in there. But Northtech was moved from Louisville over to Borden, Indiana. So we have it nestled in there, and it works out really, really well for us. Being located in the Midwest, it makes a whole lot of sense logistically for getting machines to
Sure.
America, all around America, at any time very quickly. I mean, I do quotes all day long as the national sales manager. And when we're shipping machines out, a shipping quote typically doesn't go over 2 to 3 days, and it doesn't really matter where we're going. You know, sometimes when you're shipping to California, just because of some things that slow things down, you know, it might take 4 days, but or Oregon,
Right.
5 days. But certainly in the Midwest and down to Florida or up to Pennsylvania, It's a 2-day turnaround, so it's very quick and easy.
Yeah,
We like it.
that's good.
Northtech's ability to provide our current and future customers dependable machinery that's backed by an industry leading parts and service department for generations to come. Now the cutters are dedicated to providing our customers with the same machinery and after sales and service that they demand and when they were customers. So that experience of Rick working for his father from 2 years old to when he retired gave him a lot of experience.
Yeah, he definitely knows the bad and the good about buying machines and having them serviced the way you want it. So it's a good setup. Works.
Brings
Bringing
an
that
interesting
to Northtech.
perspective to it. For
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. Yeah, I don't know of any others that have done it that way.
Yep.
So it's-
And then his son, Brandon, who's president of the company, he went to Purdue University and majored in lean engineering. So really,
we actually sold machine. Well, Brandon was here and bought a machine from Rick did too before Brandon. But yeah, they know what they're doing.
so that experience coming to the table, especially with all of our customers, we're able to offer some problem-solving techniques that most aren't able to, especially in the manufacturing facilities these days. For us to be able to take a machine that's 80% stock and customize the other 20% to the customer's needs, it's helpful for us to have that knowledge and that troubleshooting and problem solving. It really brings that to the table and helps out tremendously with our customers.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if someone has a need, and we just got done, selling a couple machines to a company that wanted to cut lids off of paint cans for recycling purposes.
Really?
So you take a machine that's 80% stock and you make some changes to it. And realistically, the first one turned out pretty well, but we learned after about 8 months of use that we could tweak it here and tweak it there. So we made some more adjustments and they ordered their second one. And, we just have the ability to tailor that machine to the exact need of the customer. So
That is an impressive part of what you guys are doing. I mean, you don't think of buying a upcut saw or a table saw or something and having somebody willing to make a bunch of modifications on it to fit exactly what your need is. A lot of these places, we have a 52-inch, 10-inch blade. Here it is. Where you guys will actually take the time to look at it. Here's what we're doing. What can we change to make that suited to your actual application? Not all times does it work that it can be changed or modified, but you'll take the time to look at it and see if you can.
For sure.
Well, we just want it. We want it to help. I mean, when the customer comes in, I want that machine when it goes out the door. I don't want it to do 80% of what they need it to. So whatever we need to do to test it, to do a runoff, and that's what we invite. I mean, a lot of times we'll invite people to come in and do a runoff before they purchase that machine.
Yeah.
And it's so helpful because you get to learn the aspects of what their challenges are. And we get to fix that or adjust that, or Jeremy's sitting here with us. He's able to go with that customer and make those changes on that machine before it leaves the shop. So it's exactly what they needed to do. Or he brought the elevation up from, hey, they can do 80% of their product to now with a slight adjustment. Now they're doing 93% of their product. So really helpful. But services, we kill it in service and parts. We got $3 million worth of parts in stock. So if someone needs something, we don't want them down. We always suggest to buy some inventory and stock some spare parts. But if someone's not able or didn't take advantage of that, for us to be able to overnight something and have something to you at 10 a.m. the next day so you're not down.
It's important.
It's a huge thing. And if you call us, you're actually going to get a human on the phone. We're going to answer most of the time on that first phone call. And I'll turn that over to Jeremy a little bit to talk about the service department, what we offer him, some of the phone calls that he gets on a daily basis to be able to troubleshoot and help someone that is down. And sometimes it's simple, something as simple as, just doing this little test here or this test and replacing something they might have on hand or can go locally and get just so that they can only be down for an hour. But
Yeah.
you want to tell us a little about your daily grind?
Yeah, I probably spend 75% of my time just on the phone with customers, whether it be the machine is down or they just can't figure out how to get the finish that they're looking for. Then they'll give me a call. My office line's forwarded to my cell phone, so it doesn't matter where I go. The phone's going to ring.
That's right.
Yeah, so
I'll find you.
yeah, without a doubt. So we'll go through the steps of troubleshooting or adjusting or whatever it is I can do to help them. Free technical support, so they don't have to worry about how many times they call or
Right.
it's
You don't turn the clock on when they call?
no. Most of our customers they have my cell phone. Matter of fact, it's like if you're having a problem, just take a picture of it, text it to me before you call, and that way I can see what you're seeing and
Yeah,
we can sit down
makes
and
it easier.
figure it out. Yeah, for sure. If you need us to come out, we will. If you need training, we'll come out and train your people. At the very least, if you're interested in a machine, send us some samples. Give us an opportunity to play with what you're doing and see what you're seeing, and we'll make it work.
Right.
That's what we do best.
Do you find that 90% can be handled over the phone, or what percent?
I'd say at least 90%. As long as you're willing, I would go 100%.
Yeah.
If you've got somebody there that can follow my directions, then I would be more than happy to tell you how to fix it, opposed to having to take a day off and fly somewhere and fix it and then take a day to fly back. And,
Right.
It's just more efficient for us to
Sure.
be able to help you over the phone. So,
Yep. And the customer.
yes, for sure.
Yeah.
If I can get you running today, opposed to scheduling you, a week away or 2 weeks away, and if someone that's in y'all's neighborhood, if we can get your tech to go in our place, and it's,
Right.
obviously that's more economical, but
Right.
if you can allow us to fix it over the phone, we would prefer it
Sure.
without a doubt.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Help keep them costs down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Saves everybody time and money.
It travels.
It's a good thing.
Big expense right now.
Mm-hmm. For sure. But for the most part, we really pride ourselves on service. We get Google reviews and people get on our website and phone calls and emails. And when someone sends an email, typically it gets copied to everybody in the company, just to let them know that, hey, people are paying attention to that extra effort and,
Yeah.
keep it up.
It's nice that people acknowledge the good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most of them only concentrate on the bad. So.
I tell people that all the time. They'll call and it's like, well, I've got a problem. It's like, well, nobody ever calls to say hi. So let's figure out what's going on here. Is it what the machine doing or what it's not doing?
Yeah.
Typically it's, if you're calling and you're willing to work with me, then there's usually not a machine I can't tell you how to fix.
How long have you been with the company?
Oh, man. Going on 9-10 years now, something like that. Yeah. So when I came into Northtech, I had 2 years in old Northtech.
Okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
I kind of got to see the
Right.
decline of old Northtech, unfortunately. And when these guys come along and bought it, ever since then we've grown exponentially year after year. Every time we go to a new show to Vegas or Atlanta, our booth gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Every year there's another truckload of machinery that's added to the list, and but it's made a huge difference. The money was starting to get low in old Northtech, so if you needed a part, I needed you to pay for it up front.
Yeah, I remember
what I mean?
those.
Yeah.
I remember those days. We had to send you some checks
It was
ahead of
tough.
time.
Yeah, it was tough. But now we get to stock enough parts that typically we can just send it out of our parts room, and it makes things so much more efficient. But
Yeah, it's better for everybody.
yeah, I had zero experience in the woodworking industry when I came along, and
What did you do before?
oh man, I've worked on hot tubs and done electrical work, and a lot of different fields that just never really took. So when I got into this, I spent a lot of time on YouTube and Google. If I was going to work on this water bottle, I would take as many pictures as I could, and I'd go home and I would study these pictures and just research as much as I could. And I'd come back the next day and act like I knew what I was doing yesterday. By the time they figured out that that's what I was doing, I knew what I was doing. So
Yeah,
it was
right.
funny then, what I mean? But it took a little bit of time and study. But, yeah, I got it figured out. I feel like I do anyway.
That's good. Good.
So nowadays, how many machines do we have?
In inventory?
Yeah, just
About 500.
About 500. So out of those 500 machines, if you call, I can usually talk to you about it from memory. So it comes in handy
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
No, it's helpful to have somebody who understands what they're
Yeah.
working on.
Yeah, and if you enjoy your work, which I
Comes
do.
easy too.
Yeah, I like to take stuff apart. I like to put it together, and if I get something new in, if you'll just let me take it apart, you know what I mean, then I'll understand how it works at that point, and we can have a conversation about it. So
Seems like you're always adding stuff to that product line, so
Yeah,
I'm sure you're doing
yeah.
that quite often.
we'll get something new in, and they'll give me the book and give me the machine, and it's like, just give me some time, and usually within a few hours I can run it like I've been running it my whole life. So
Good.
Yeah, it's a skill that comes in handy for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Thankfully, as we get further along in the innovation and bringing new things to the market, like the iDovetail dovetail machine, won several awards on it in the last couple of years. He's having to do less work on them because our engineers are just they're getting smarter, engineering things better, and we're always doing factory visits and re-engineering things so that it works better and works, longer, lasts longer, and just beefier. And that's the difference in our machines compared to some others, are the quality control we do with our factories and the specific things that we do when we build our machines to make them bigger, to make them heavier and more sturdy, to put bigger motors in them so that the machine doesn't have to work as hard when it's putting that product through it. So there's a lot of things that we do that if you compare, yeah, we're a little more expensive than a machine that another manufacturer offers. But if you dig into the details, you're going to notice that we're 1,500 pounds more, and
Right.
we're 5 to 10 to 20 horsepower more. We have bigger bearings, and
That was something we just ran into. We were talking about this morning is the idle wheels on the edge sanders. That's the competition was coming in at 2.5 inches, and we're 4.5.
4 3/4.
4 3/4 on an idle wheel, and I mean that you can clearly see the size difference of the bearing there and what it's going to last. The heating part of a bearing heating up,
The stress that you can apply to it before a shaft breaks. There's so much.
some pretty clear differences there, but you do have to look and really compare the two because I mean, typically I'd say you guys are a little bit more expensive, but there's a reason. There is a reason.
That quality. And then there's the service and parts. Well, when you bring that to the table, anybody's willing to pay for good service and parts, especially these days, because the employee level at companies and factories around this nation right now, it's hard because those employees that they depended on to fix things or to know about those things have retired. So to get qualified technicians and qualified employees to run those machines, it's getting harder and harder.
Very much. You hear that every day.
Yeah, it's hard to quantify what your service department, what kind of profit they bring to the table. It's more of a soft profit that you don't really see. But, if you've got somebody like me that spends 75 to 80% of their time during the day on the phone, the quality that brings
Well,
to the table.
it's the future sales. I mean, you guys you're like us. It's not just one and done. You don't want to hit and run. You want
Right.
you want to sell them the next machine.
If you're
the
not
next
making money, we're not making money.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
That's right.
we got to keep you going.
Yeah.
Well, that's why Northtech, I mean, we do sell direct to a customer, but we prefer to assist RT Machinery and our other dealers because you're the one that's going to have that relationship with
That's
that
right.
customer. You're able to walk in the door and you're able to tell them the differences. So when they're picking out, like Ryan with that customer with that NT 1248S or DE, that double-sided edge sander. When you tell him those differences, you're telling him those differences because you want to see that sander in his facility after 17 years still doing its job.
Yep.
Because the differences that we put into our machine versus another manufacturer, that based on what you see and the differences, that other machine might only last 7 or 8 years. So yes, you are going to have to spend a little more money, but if you can double the time in production, then it makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, having somebody like you guys with local boots on the ground to be able to go into a customer and make them feel comfortable with their purchase and know that there's someone within miles of them to to reach out to.
Yep.
Really helps.
And
Absolutely.
the technical training. I mean, with Jeremy here for the next couple days, with the service technicians at RT, it's just giving them more horsepower behind them to be able to assist the customers in their need when a machine does have an issue. So
That's right. Yeah. It is machinery, and they tend to break every now and then.
every once in a while,
It's like your car, right?
depends on how hard you are on it.
Right?
Yeah.
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 That's for
But
sure.
it's meant to run.
It
That's sure they are.
Do you do you use Cutter as like a testing ground sometimes? I noticed like that stacking system that we talked about. There's one over there. Is that does that work out that way sometimes?
Well, I mean, it certainly doesn't hurt.
yeah.
They have probably
They run them
about-
hard. They run stuff hard, I'm sure.
They have about 75 Northtech machines. At one point, there's probably about 75 machines in there, and they certainly have a big rework department there. We have several opportunities to work on projects with them, and they have the need, the know-how, and they have the faith that Northtech's going to take care of them.
Sure. Yeah. That's a
Big
good
help.
that's a good relationship, I'm sure.
It's a very impressive place as well. So,
Yeah.
occasionally we'll have someone come in that is somewhat in that field, and to be able to take them up there and get on their catwalks and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, I got a tour the last time I was
impressive.
down. It is an impressive place.
So, Joe, I'm kind of curious to hear a little bit more about some of the innovative stuff you guys have been doing. I know, what are you up to? 2 different Challenger Awards now?
3.
3. So I know you had the one with the ripsaw, the fence, your iDove, and then what was the other one?
Now it's the eye glue.
The eye glue. Okay.
So,
Can you kind of start with the first one? Your first one would have been the fence
Five
for
fence.
on the straight line rips.
Yeah,
and kind
that's
of
our L5 no lock airlock fence that allows the operator on a straight line ripsaw to be able to have touch sensitivity. So he just puts his hand on the fence and in one certain location with a digital readout, and he's able to move that fence to a specific area based on the thickness or the width that he would like to cut with that straight line ripsaw. So he's going to set it to 4 inches, and when he lets go, it's actually going to lock in place, and that's pneumatic. It's a really nice setup, and then it's for someone that's going to be doing different widths often. So if you're going to do 4 inches, and then you're going to take it to 3, and then you're going to take it to 2.5, to be able to just put your finger on that fence and move that over to 3, and then move it over to 2.5. When you let go, it locks it in place. Now, when you are going to run a 10 or 12, 13-foot board on there, you might want to go ahead and use the manual lock. That's still available. So you just reach underneath there and manual lock it in place when you're going to be banging things around and using those big boards. But for shorter boards, 8 foot, 6 foot, 4 foot, to be able to put it up there and real quickly go from 2 to 4 inches and boom, it's there. And because it has a digital readout, it's really, really nice to use. And that's an option that we have on our straight line ripsaws. We offer straight line ripsaws from 12-inch all the way up to 20-inch. So a lot of offerings there.
what was the mindset to start coming up yourself with some of these innovative solutions to this stuff? Because it'd be pretty easy just to import a machine and be happy with the quality and just make sure your quality's good versus trying to solve further issues. Was there a mindset that the cutters had, or was that kind of a company like your techs or somebody said like, look, we could do this and make it way better, faster? Was there?
I would love for Brandon to be here because he'd have a lot to say about that.
The L5 stemmed from another project. We were trying to eliminate a guard on another machine, but the only way that we could do it was to have a safe zone where they would know where their hands were all the time. So as we dove into that technology, then why don't we just put that on one of these fences and let it start, the next thing you know. So we kind of tripped over it. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And with the eye dovetail, we wanted to get into the dovetail market. We have an engineer that's probably the smartest engineer on this planet, we feel.
He's pretty good. Yeah. And his availability is really top notch. I can message him right now and he'll reply, even though he's on the other side of the planet. And he's given me full permission that if he doesn't answer, to call me, wake me up so we can get it solved. Yeah. So he's the availability of the quality of service we can provide with that line is it's top notch.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So getting into the dovetail market, we obviously saw what some of our competitors were doing, and we knew that we could improve on that. Coming up with the software interface that we did, it's just phenomenal. It just makes it so easy to not have to have a skilled operator. We knew in this marketplace right now, 4 years ago and today, and in the future, not having to have a skilled operator is crucial, and it's it's worth so much today because it's so hard to get employees.
Yeah.
So when you can walk up to, especially the dovetail market and making dovetails, the skill set that it took to make a dovetail in the past was that was a skill. That was something someone had to learn and understand and know, that when something is sitting proud, what to do about it, and then what to do on the machine that they were using to fix that issue, and not create another issue with the part when they fix that issue.
Yep.
The back and forth on that, it sometimes took a lot on setup. And we were able to come up with a software interface that eliminated all of that, and you were able to make changes to a part and see that part before you even had to cut it. So, tremendous.
It
I
is.
think we spent probably 30 minutes or so going through a training on the dovetail and kind of like, this is how we program it. And I mean, feel pretty confident I could walk out to the machine and be cutting a part myself within half an hour of just learning the software, probably faster than that, but really truly understanding it and being able to make real adjustments.
Well, and what we're able to show, if a customer is interested in it, we're able to bring up that interface here up on the computer and share it with the customer on a Zoom meeting. And when we do that, it's quick to show, one, that if you do have an unskilled operator and you don't want that operator to have much say in adjustment to that part, then it can be as simple as saving it in a file. They pull up a file, they hit load, and then they can go to cutting that piece immediately.
Yep.
So you can eliminate all of the options for the operator and just give them a couple buttons to hit, and they're making parts.
For sure.
That's all good.
Yep.
And now your newest dovetail add-on, the gluer.
Is the gluer, yes. It's our iGlue 450. It's amazing. It's really, really cool. Just stick it in.
Yeah, that's your tagline.
That's our tagline. All you got to do is just take it.
We even have the T-shirt. Yeah.
We do have it on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
So when you have that dovetail, you put the single piece in, and you can do it on the male or the female. And you make that selection right there on the machine. You stick it in, it hits a fence, it comes down, it reads it, and then squirts and applies the glue immediately in one pass. And you remove
It's
it.
reading and applying in one
Reading
pass.
and applying in one pass. You're able to control how much it's putting in there, when it starts, when it stops. There's a lot of things that is integrated into it to give the operator options to control it to their specific environment. And all of that is putting onto an interface on your mobile devices through an app, and it's through Wi-Fi technology with your Wi-Fi. Yeah, Wi-Fi technology through your smartphone. You're going to connect your smartphone to the machine through Wi-Fi, and then the app is going to come up, and you're able to make some adjustments there and play around with some certain things. So when we do that training with the customer, we go over all of those things, we adjust things, and then they can adjust things once they have the glue loaded, their parts loaded, and if they need to make an adjustment on the fly, it's very quick. You go into there, but you don't have to have that interface built into the machine and the cost that's built into it, and the wear and tear and potential breakdown at some point in the life of the machine. It's just going to be on your smartphone. So,
And within that app, if we have any updates for the machine, then you just go in there and push update to bring the machine up to standard. And it's the same with the iDove as well. We can log into that machine at any time. We just need you to, follow a couple simple directions, shut down the iDove software, and then it becomes a Windows-based software where we can go in there and just TeamViewer or any desk, and we have full access to that machine.
That's pretty cool.
Is that through Wi-Fi as well?
Yes.
Okay.
You can drop a hard line to it,
Can
or
you?
just log on, just like your laptop logs on.
Okay.
Yeah. Very, very efficient.
That's always good.
Yeah.
Making it easy.
Yeah, for the most part,
updates.
if someone can follow some directions, give me some measurements, then I can give them the command to put into the machine, and we don't need to log in. But occasionally, you can run across someone that just
Sure.
doesn't have that savvy to them, and
Or just doesn't want to.
it's just easier just log us on.
Sure,
Let's do it that way.
Sure.
Well,
Makes sense.
some things that let's go back to the iDovetail with making drawer boxes. For other machines, other manufacturers that offer that technology, they don't offer certain things that are available on our iDovetail. So we have 8 different modes, 8 different joints that you can make on a dovetail.
Including mortise and tenon, which is
Mortise and tenon. We have mitered joints available, and that's just not available on any other machine. So ours is the only one in the marketplace that offers that. Another thing that just a benefit on the daily use is bit changeovers. The bit changeover is very quick. It's about 45 seconds. You just unloosen the collar, pull the bit out, put the bit in, and it drops down to a collar, so you don't have to measure anything out. You just drop it in, it seats properly, you tighten it up, and you're ready to roll. Another benefit to that bit is they're inexpensive. I think our least inexpensive bit is maybe $45, $50, and then it goes up from there based on the size of the bit. But most of our bits are less than $100, and you can sharpen them if you like. Once you sharpen it, you can go into the tool chart on the machine in the interface and actually make those adjustments.
Change the
and
diameter.
save it. Yep. So you can do that, or at the cost that they are. Literally, as long as it lasts, then you could just throw it away and put a new one in there. That is an option that a lot of people are taking.
It might cost more than $50 or $100 to get it sharpened, right?
It might be.
Yeah.
The downtime and just the fact of having to go get it done.
Yeah. And we have hundreds of those bits in stock.
that's
So anybody that needs anything, they can.
You're stocking the
order 'em ahead of
bits
time,
and
or
the
they can
different
order 'em.
things.
Now, you don't have to buy bits from us, though. You can also have someone make a bit, and you can enter it into the machine. You can delete any bit that you enter in, but you cannot delete our factory bits.
Okay.
You can set offsets for our factory bits to compensate for sharpening, but you cannot delete them from the system.
Right.
That's nice.
Yeah.
You always have a spot to be able to go back to and say, okay, this is, if you're trying to do a custom project with some crazy different designs and stuff, you always have that bit log of, here's a standard bit, let's go back to here. And
and then if let's say you pull a file and it's you're going to a square bit or a through or a joint, when it comes time to cut it, the machine is going to tell you what bit that needs to be in that machine. And if you tell it is, it's going to scan that bit. And if it shows that it's not, it's going to tell you that, no, you need to try again. Either it's broken or you have the wrong bit in there. So it will not let you proceed until you put in the correct bit. Yeah. So it knows. It's very user-friendly. Let's put it that way.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's solving an issue that's out there.
Oh, yeah.
Again.
Yeah. I mean, you can have professional quality drawers from a high school kid that just walked in an hour later.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, tell us a little bit about your background. How did you get into selling woodworking machinery?
So I actually spent about 20 years in the car business, and I worked for Land Rover Jaguar in the service side. That's what gives me the mindset of let's fix this and let's figure out how to do it. I'm just a professional problem solver. I
feel like that some days too.
Yep.
Different problem.
The car business will bring that out in you and teach you to how to do that on a daily basis, because there are always problems to solve. So I spent a lot of time around cars. In my spare time, I've restored many vehicles, and I still tinker around in the garage. My father-in-law lives with us, and he worked in the auto upholstery business for 45 years. So we still do a hot rod or two, and right now we're actually doing a 1970 Jaguar convertible. Put a new convertible top on it and some new seats in it. And
Wow.
it's just fun tinkering around in the garage. So after that time, I wanted to get back into sales, and the car industry just wasn't where I wanted to sell, and had an opportunity come up with Brandon. He's got a really nice name in the community. And just in talking with some people that knew him, it was just a really great guy and great employer to work for. So went and met the team and had a couple of interviews, and didn't really care much for Jeremy when I met him. But, he's growing on
He's
me.
growing on you still?
Yeah.
Growing on me.
You got to do a little hazing on the new guy.
But the rest of the team has just been amazing. And we have a powerhouse. I mean, everybody knows their role and what to do to make the ball continue to roll. And we're all there trying to get that ball to roll as well and straight as possible. You know, we understand that sometimes rolling that ball too fast will make it deviate off track and go to the left, and then you have to work twice as hard to get it back on that straight and narrow. So, you know, yeah, it'd be fun to double your sales over 3 days.
Yeah.
But there's consequences behind that, and our
Absolutely.
team understands that we just continue to work on being the best we can be and help our customers, and just continues to get us forward. And that's why we're working on innovation. I mean, when we talk about these challengers or awards, going to IWF and AWFS, our main goal is just to be able to put out the best product we can and be innovative in safety with the products. And we got some cool things lined up. I mean, we're going to bring some cool things to the show in the next couple of years, and we'll just continue to try and help the woodworking industry the most we can.
You seem to have picked it up really fast, because you haven't been doing this all that long, have you?
No, about 3 years.
Yeah.
Really, I have to attribute that to Brandon's assistance. He's really one-on-one with all departments. Being the president of the company, certainly he has his challenges, but on a daily basis, he's working with the employees to make sure that everything's taken care of and that everybody understands what their role is and how to do things. And when things come up, he's the first one there to help out. So, and that's a big thing. Also, it's the logic and how we store our information and from our quotes to the machines and how we adapt the logic to the specification, and how thorough we are in understanding all of our machines, how the specs on them, and sharing those with our dealer network and our customers. We've really tried to organize that the best way we can, and with that organization, it's really made it easy for me in the last 3 years to understand the machines, and then my innate capability to be able to take something apart and put it back together for many, many years. Whether it has a gas engine on it or an electric engine on it, it's made it easier for me to understand why that machine does what it does and how we can make it do better, and what customers' challenges are. And I don't know, that's just trying to make it happen.
Good.
what I don't know, I have a lot of good people around me to
That's what it takes.
Yeah.
give me that answer or steer me in the right direction.
Yep.
Everybody needs a Joe.
Everybody needs a Jeremy.
That's
Well, you have a very broad line. So maybe you can tell a little bit, basically, what all you guys sell. I mean, anything from a table saw to a
Yeah.
that's
stacker,
That's a loaded
double-sided
question.
planers.
Yeah. I mean, classical woodworking is our focus. We deviate a little outside of that. But as far as classical woodworking machinery goes, I mean, that's a big line. There's a lot to do when in woodworking, and it's not all just a planer or a straight line rip saw. So when we're talking about machinery, I mean, from boring, dust collection, gluing and assembly, packaging and handling, planing, profiling, sanding, sawing. We do veneer processing. And waste processing. We don't get much into like grinders and things of that nature, but certainly waste removal and trapdoor hoppers and dumpsters. We have a really nice line there. But dust collection, I mean, we have one of the strongest dust collections out there. We have 9.8 inches of water column of suction, which is huge. Everybody talks about CFM. Well, a big, shop fan that I see just sitting out here on a pole that provides a bunch of air for your employees. Yeah, it's got a lot of CFM coming out of it, but that doesn't mean anything,
Right.
So you can talk about CFM with your customers all you want, but if it doesn't have the inches of water column,
Static pressure.
to be able to suck that dust off of that surface or out of that cutter head, then it's not doing you any good.
Right.
And so we pride ourselves in not only offering as much information as we can to our customers on our machines, but it's the right information. We double check that information often so that we know that it's correct. When we're talking about gluing assembly, I mean, whether it's door and window machines to clamps to dovetailers, finger joint systems from basic units all the way up to fully automatic, glue applicators, high frequency gluers, Morrison tenon machines, notchers. We even have pallet assembly systems from manual
We talked about that.
to automatic with stacking equipment that's attached to it. There's a lot to offer. I could talk for hours on about 300 machines that we offer. So we typically have a solution for every customer.
Yeah, that's why I called you now about that stacker behind the finger joiner. Like I kind of remembered seeing one at at Cutter, and I thought, well, I'll just reach out to you, and got the quote right away.
We're trying to get one in stock in time for IWF, so we could actually bring one to Atlanta and just have it running in our booth, which is one of the new and exciting things that we just want to tell someone about. It's not new to us, and we've had the stacker around for a while, but there's not a lot of people that know that we carry and that we offer those. So we want to put it out there and let it be known.
Well, that's the importance of the show. Gets the word out to a lot of people. So, coming up in August.
250 horsepower gang rip that we have sitting in the showroom right now.
Yeah,
250 horsepower?
Top and bottom arbor.
That's a sawmill machine.
Yeah, we have a pallet customer. He's actually out in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he has bought several machines from us, but that is the newest one. I think that a couple stackers will be to follow, but right now we have a powered in feed and power out feed. It cuts up to 8.5 inches thick, dual arbor, and it's got 250 horsepower to make that cut. So you can put several blades on there. We're cutting at 3/4 of an inch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we probably had 13, 14 blades on there.
Yeah,
16 blades?
it was 12 inches wide. So yeah, I'd say 15 blades?
Yeah. So
We got 100
30 blades.
30 if you count them both.
125 per motor.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And it ripped through that like it was butter. I mean, like
Yeah, we got some cool videos for sure.
we do. Yeah, certainly.
Made a lot of dust.
I was going to say, that test your dust collection.
Yes, sir.
That's going to fill a bag up pretty quick.
3 bags.
3 bags quick.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Better blow that into a trailer for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, that's about all I got, unless Ryan.
I don't
Dean
think
hasn't said anything today.
I don't think I
Said this is Dean.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Answered a lot of the questions I had. Just kind of recapping. I'm just really impressed with a company that's doing an import that's wanting to solve issues. That's because it's hard to find.
Yeah.
It says a lot about the company when you're looking to solve little issues. And there's a fine line to solving an issue and sending your prices through the roof that it no longer solved the issue. You made it way too expensive to actually solve, where that's not what, I mean, all of your prices I've seen, they come in competitive and aggressive, and you're solving more issues.
Well, our main focus isn't to sell machines; it's to take care of customers.
Yeah,
That's
these
what
days,
we do every day.
we've noticed that most companies, they don't have the technical ability to solve their own problems anymore. You know, those type of people are just not out there anymore. And if they are, the price it's too expensive to only need them once every 3 months or once every 2 months, or so. For us to be able to provide a service like that, a phone call away, makes a world of difference for small shops or even big shops.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That is the reason to buy Northtech.
yeah, without a doubt.
Well, I think that wraps it up.
Alrighty.
It all works
Well,
good.
hey, thanks for having us.
Yeah, appreciate you coming out and sitting in with us.
Yeah, you got an impressive place here for sure.
Thank you.
I like it.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you could work on airplanes back there. Yeah.
They said that the big room, what we call the P building, they said if it's empty, you can bring a tractor and trailer in there and turn it around and go back the other way.
Nice.
I bet.
They don't need any more ideas what to work on.
We'll save that for next year.
All right. Till next time.
Don't forget to support our buddies at Green Street Joinery by subscribing to the American Craftman podcast and their new YouTube channel, Today's Craftsman. Both links in the description of today's podcast.